recorded.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Mark Willis, County Administrator. The Calvert County Blueprint Committee will conduct this meeting virtually on this December 7th, 2022 at 2 p.m. via Zoom. Please note that the meeting will be recorded and posted online publicly for reference. This isn't an open agenda. Under general business and administrative matters, Ruthie, would you call us to order, please?
Yes, sir. So I will call out your name for taking the roll. Dr. Sampson,
Present.
Mark Willis,
Present.
Melissa Goshorn,
Present.
Donna Ostenso,
Here.
Wilson Perrin,
Here.
Mike Schisler, Joanna Stallings,
Here.
Stacy Taman,
Here.
myself, Ruthie Buckler here, Tony Navarro.
Here.
It's nice to be able to hear your voice, Tony.
Thank you.
And John Norris.
Got my computer fixed.
Good. John Norris.
Here.
Okay. We are called.
All right, we have a quorum. First item is review and approval of the agenda for this meeting, December 7th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So move. Wilson.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it, Ruthie. Joe, I guess the first thing is to turn it over to you and let you give us the update.
All right, well, thank you. So I will go through our update. It may cross over into some of the other items on the agenda for information purposes. But right now, we finally received the finalized guidance document, implementation plan and success criteria from the AIB. So we're happy about that. And now we're in the writing process. Our work groups have delegated writing responsibility to various individuals across the county in the system. And they're going to be working on the writing of our implementation plan. The goal is February 1st to have all of the writing done in our various pillars or in all 5 pillars of the implementation plan, so that our steering committee can then take from February 1st to March 1st to review the writing, as well as in February, present the written plan to this committee for conversation, discussion, and feedback. Then in March, the beginning of March, present our finalized plan to the Board of Education, which then March 15th being the submission date that the final plan is due. So that's the timeline that we're working with right now, barring any issues or changes or setbacks. But we think we're in a good place with that. MSDE has offered technical assistance to all LEAs. Sessions are designed to help us through all aspects of the plan and the implementation areas that we might need assistance. There's a survey for that due Friday, which we will be submitting to then schedule our individualized school district sessions with AIB and MSDE. We started focus groups already. Principals were my first focus group. I sent a series of questions to principals for them to answer with regard to their thoughts on implementation based on that set of questions. And then taking all that feedback, we will be providing that to our steering committee to help us in developing and writing our plan. The same questions will be provided to different groups, CEA, CASE, CASA, and this committee as well to get you all to provide feedback on those questions. So my question to Ms. Buckler is, if I emailed the questions to you, could you send to the group? And then would we prefer that the group respond to their questions to you and then you send me like a final document with all the responses? Or should the responses come directly back to me?
Either way works for me. I can do whatever makes it easier for you.
Hey, Joe, if you don't mind, let me weigh in. And
Sure.
certainly it's your choice, but here's what I would like to do. Why don't we respond to Ruthie? Let Ruthie do that legwork of pulling it all together so that you get one document ready.
Okay.
And she can keep and at the same time, I mean, we would be giving that back to all members of this committee so that what you get, we all get at the same time.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So other than that, I know this is in the next piece, but as far as an update, with the focus group, principals being done, this committee being next, the next group would be parents, and then staff with different groups of staff being provided questions to respond to. We have our virtual town hall meeting finally scheduled. An official invitation will be going out this week. And that is going to be December the 19th, virtually from 5:30 to 6:30. It'll be an overview, blueprint overview for those who may not be familiar. Really, really high level overview. So not getting into the weeds, but then also being able to answer some general questions with our work group facilitators, leading the charge and responding to those. But it'll be a webinar format where we'll provide information and then folks will be able to ask questions.
Dr. Sampson,
Yes.
can I interrupt you? I see that John Norris has his hands up, so I just want to make sure if there's a legal
Oh, okay.
issue, he addresses
Okay.
that.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. I was looking at the resolution that created this Calvert County Blueprint Implementation Committee, and it is actually charged to inform the creation of the local blueprint implementation plan. What I heard was that the plan's going to be prepared, it's going to be vetted, and then it'll be presented to the committee?
No, it's going to be written and then presented to the committee. Because the school district staff is responsible for writing the plan. This committee is responsible for input on that plan and will have that input into any recommendations or changes or what have you. But the writing will be done by the school district staff. So once that's done, February 1st, then it'll be presented to this group.
John, to follow up on your comment, that's something that I think this committee has wanted kind of guidance on in the past. It's something that I was going to bring up today as well. But I don't disagree with Joe in that you've got to get the information from within the school system first and then let this board weigh in. The one thing that I didn't hear earlier, Joe, was it seems like a lot of individual agencies are being briefed, but at no time was the Board of County Commissioners in there. That was one of the reasons why we had this, was to keep them abreast, same as the Board of Education as we go forward. So I just need to work that in there as well.
Yeah, and that was a discussion at one of our last meetings in terms of a presentation to the county commissioners. So at whatever point we want to do that within that window, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
So I guess we can get to that point sometime in January and start having discussions about when we want to do it.
Yes, sir.
We
So
have
just
lots
a
of
few-
hands up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for the updates piece. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. I do have to hop off in a few minutes, but then I'll be back hopefully before 3 o'clock.
Donna, I think you had your hand up first.
So I basically, that is what I wanted to say, that, and Joe kind of said that at the end, that we did talk about that, about briefing the county commissioners at our last meeting. And we decided that we would wait until the new elected board got sworn in. And then I thought we were talking about like the end of January, beginning of February, looking at when we would come in to actually brief the county commissioners. And I think we'd even talked about Joe, like being like at the table, I'm going to say, and that the rest of this committee could be like behind him in the pew. I'm just not sure that we actually picked a date.
So Donna, what we found out basically as we're getting closer to the basically swearing in of the new board on December 20th, we have Mako the first week of January. So I'll have all the commissioners with me in Cambridge. We won't get back. We'll get back in that week, but I won't have them on an agenda. The first one will be January 10th. It's unlikely that we're ready on the 10th. I think we have off for Martin Luther King on, I think, the 17th.
17th.
So it's probably towards the end of the month at the earliest anyway.
And that would probably, I mean, I think work out better for part of the timeline that Joe shared. As far as he will have had a virtual town. Is there another meeting, Joe, that you have with community in the month of January?
There's another virtual town hall that we're looking at scheduling in February. But we don't have a date for it yet.
Okay. Maybe I was thinking of the survey that you were sending out. Maybe
that's just a different focus group. So it really depends on when principals have their PTO, PTA, PTSA meetings scheduled, because my plan is to go in to those in order to facilitate those focus groups.
So maybe that could be a tentative date that we look at, Mark, because that will have allowed for the first virtual town hall. It'll be before the second town hall.
Okay.
So since you've got, their calendar in front of you.
Yeah, Ruthie, let's put that on there, and then we'll get with the clerk and we'll figure out the best time, and we'll get that back to you so that everybody else is helping to make that decision as well, not just me.
Thank you.
I think we had Melissa also.
Melissa was next, I think.
Yeah, the only question or comment I guess I had is, do we expect good attendance at a meeting December the 19th at 5:30 to 6:30? Parents, I mean, most parents aren't home from work yet, and it's the week before Christmas.
Yeah, we actually thought that through. Myself, a couple steering committee members, and our chief communications officer. And the thought was that it might be a testy time, but that's why we didn't have it in person. And we wanted to do it virtually because then we could accommodate as many people as possible. So we do anticipate a pretty decent turnout. I don't know. I mean, numbers wise, I can't really put a finger on what I think it might be, but we think it'll be reasonable for that time.
Will it be recorded and shared?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Joe, with that, Ruthie, make a note that whatever assistance they need in getting doubling up on the outreach, that we're ready to do that as well.
Okay. When you said recorded, is the school board doing that, or is our staff doing that?
We're doing that.
Okay. Tony, you had your hand up next.
Yeah, what was that date you had that you mentioned, Donna?
The 24th?
Okay, all right. Got it. Thank you, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
Micah, you had your hand up next.
Thank you. I'm also thinking that the time 5:30 to 6:30 could be a problem for many parents that week. And I know it would make life more difficult for us, but could we move it back to 6 to 7 or 6:30 to 7:30? Give people a break to get home, get dinner, and then meet.
I'd have to check Dr. Townsend's schedule, honestly, because he is attending and participating. So that was also trying to work that within his schedule in terms of when we could do it.
Yeah, I understand you've got a lot of variables play with Joe, but I'm just thinking a little bit later might be more beneficial to more folks in the public.
Sure. I'll check into it.
Thank you.
And I do need to hop off, but I will be back.
All right, thank you, Joe. All right, with that, I think we have as much of the update that can come from the Board of Education side of the house. We do that included both the general business and the new business. I will say under new business, I need everybody to understand that I will have, I, along with Ruthie and our Board of County Commissioners, will be at Mako. So our next meeting, I think, is the 3rd of January, which we won't be here for that. So we need to figure out when we can have that January meeting. Just keep that in mind, unless Ruthie, unless we go out 1 week, because we're out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Does the 10th work for you?
Well, the 10th is our first meeting with the new board, first full meeting with the board when they get back. So that's a Tuesday that we'll be busy that Tuesday. The 11th would work.
Mark, what time is that meeting scheduled for the 3rd?
Normally it's this time. It's 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Okay. So you guys going down on Tuesday?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of them do. They go down because they have meetings first thing in the morning, like
Yeah.
I think the president's speech, for example. But my point, it'd be a tough day to have that day,
Yeah.
that 3rd. I mean, we could try to have it late. I hate to say late on Tuesday, the 10th, because I never know what's going to happen on an agenda day, especially it'll be the first board with the first meeting with the new board, full meeting.
Would January 11th work for everyone at 2 p.m.? 1 week later?
Not to me.
Not for you?
No.
You okay for me?
Oh, what time? What time? 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock will work,
Okay,
but I
Well,
have
the-
to get right on.
okay. Would the 11th not work? Is there anyone here that could not attend on the 11th? How about that?
The 11th is a little tricky for me. I could make it work, but it might be a little bit late.
What about the 12th?
Is the 12th better for everyone? You're muted, Tony.
Isn't that
Yeah,
Board of Ed? That's our Board
Yes.
of Ed meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, Board of Ed meeting.
Can you reschedule that, Tony? No, I'm kidding.
I'll work on it.
I mean, we on this side, we'll try to adjust as much as we can, but I mean, we're saying this, I don't even know what, I think so far we're working with Joe to make sure that he can be there. So Ruthie, why don't we send out what we just talked about for the 10th and then,
The 11th, right?
11th.
I mean, the
11th.
11th, but then adjust the time if we need to. And for Stacy, I mean, if we're a few minutes late, I mean, we can work with that. I mean, I'd rather have everybody there, even if you're a little bit later, you have to leave a little bit early. Okay,
all right. The 11th, I will send that out to everyone.
all right, under old business, we have update from the Board of Education appointee. That would normally be Joe talking about that. I don't know that we have any information on that individual. Do you have anything, Tony?
No, I do not.
Okay. The public awareness campaign, I know we keep talking about this. I do know that just talking to Joe that they've kind of energized within, you're, in other words, you're covering the virtual, for example, you're pushing out your own information. Certainly we are willing and ready to help. I just don't know what that looks like until I'm asked for it. I would like to give my staff, my communication staff, a little bit of time just to provide the best service they can. So we're still willing is my point. Under timeline and deliverables, I think what I'll ask Joe to do is to come back and in writing, kind of give us what he gave us today, but just give us kind of a synopsis on what dates he knows about, what days we're gonna have meetings, et cetera, so that we have kind of a chronological list of where we are. And then Ruthie will get that back out to everybody just as placeholders for information going forward. With that, unless there are comments up to this point, we're ready for public comment.
I see no members of the public online. Is there anyone here that is going to speak from the public? Okay, then I will spare you my 2-minute spiel, and we can move on to closing comments. So I'll do it in the same order that we did attendance, and I'll call on you, and you feel free to say what you need to say. Mark, do you have any closing comments?
I have one, and it's a result of what I just said. Ruthie, when we reach out to Joe, for example, and ask Joe for an update, that chronological update as discussed, I think I would like, John, unless you advise otherwise, I would like all members to see that email go out. I would like them courtesy that what we're asking, that way we're all on the same page. When it comes back, we can still manage it through your office, but I'd like to keep everybody up to breast as to where we are as soon as we can and not without delay. All right.
Okay. So we will move down to Melissa Gashorn.
So I have a question I didn't have an opportunity to ask earlier, and I was interested in the focus group surveys that are going out to all the different groups. One, if the questions to all the groups will be the same or different. And two, as a committee, if we will have access to all of the survey questions and responses.
Ruthie, we can put in that email asking the question of, can we see the questions that are going out, not just for the first one, but as they are diverse for each group. And maybe there's a reason not, and I'm not going to fight the reason, but if we can have it, let's have it. And the sooner we have it, the more we're aware of as a committee what's going on.
Anything else, Ms. Gashorn? Next would be Donna Ostenso.
No, I'm good. Thanks, Ruthie.
Wilson Perrin,
I'm good.
Mike Schisler,
Yes, apologies for being late this afternoon. I also wanted just to put on folks' radar screen that we're going to find as we move along here, I think a lot of different groups that are going to fit into our web of this blueprint. And one that comes to mind immediately is the Head Start Advisory Committee. And since they're dealing with early childhood, and when you look at what Strong Schools has in their pillar for early childhood. So I think we're going to find other groups that can be supporters and co-collaborators, pardon me, with our efforts. So there's going to be a lot of tie-ins as we go along, I think. Thank you.
thank you. Joanna Stallings,
No comment.
Stacy Taman,
Nothing for me. Thanks.
nothing from me. Tony Navarro,
Nothing from me. Thank you, Ruthie.
John Norris, just nod your head, John.
Trying to unmute, but there it is. No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. Then that is all that we have, and I will,
Wilson
I'm sorry,
Perrin.
I called him.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
You're good. Mark has his hand up.
Yeah, Ruthie, I want to go back to something that Joe said and John brought up the resolution. And I want to just reiterate that I think this board brought this up as an internal question before. And it was, what is the true purpose of this committee? What are we doing? And I think some folks felt that we would be fed all this information and that we would actually write it. And I think the resolution might allude to that. And I hate to use the word allude because attorneys don't allude to very much. They tell you exactly the way that they believe it to be. But I think we do need that defined because one, I don't know that this committee is going to be able to write it. And I truly believe that the Board of Education feels it's their responsibility to write it. And we're to review it and then get that in front of the Board of Education and the Board of County Commissioners for some sort of mutual agreement moving forward. So I think that just so this committee knows, we'll work behind the scenes on this and nail that down so that we are all on the same page going forward.
Does anyone on this committee have a copy of the resolution? I know John probably does, which I can get it, but has anyone on this committee actually read the resolution? So
Tony, would you
I
have it?
I have it, yes.
you have it. John, if you can provide that to me, I'll send that to the committee members.
And I also ask, and maybe Tony can answer this, or maybe it would be Joe when he gets back, but the setup that we have here in Calvert County with, members from the commissioners and from the Board of Ed, is that a similar style or identical style in other jurisdictions in the state that are dealing with the blueprint?
As far as I know, we're the only one.
Okay, so that's maybe why we're feeling so, I don't want to say lost in space, but not sure what we're supposed to be doing.
Right. I think I can tell you, again, the resolution is what it is. I think it was written to bring us together as a joint committee. We reached out, we brought in different folks from different areas. It was truly, the intent was to make sure that the Board of County Commissioners were equally involved in the communication process as it was being developed. So that's what we're going to do. And that's why I need to know when we're going to get in front of the Board of County Commissioners to brief them. And this committee should brief them, not just Joe, not me, but this committee should be present so that they know we're all part of the effort.
So I'm going to take the, when this recording goes live, and I'm going to hope to do that very quickly, I'm going to go back and write down the exact questions that were asked of Dr. Sampson for him to answer. And I will send that to him and the rest of the group as well, so that we can all get the answers at the same time. Is that acceptable?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Mark, back to you. I think we're done.
I believe I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Anybody opposed and just wants to hang around? All right, I'll see everybody.
Another historic short meeting. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, sir.
Bye-bye, all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Stay healthy. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.